All right. Count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
Well done. Well done. So I think we're going to play a clip of Kent as our pre-show. So I'll play that now, and then we'll get into the show, I guess. So chat room, please do bang suggest. Get in there. Start banging away, because this is it. This is your last chance to get this right. Don't mess it up, chat room. It's so embarrassing.
We are counting on you.
Get in there. Oh, God. Oh, God.
This kind of goes back to the reason for bcachefs even existing. Going back to bcache, I was at Google, and we're trying to use these really high-performance SSDs that Google was building internally. And this is when SSDs were new, so everyone was looking for applications, and caching was the natural solution. But it turned out to be that just producing a B tree that is fast enough for indexing all block IOs was a bit of a challenge. Binary search turns out to really suck if you're really pushing it really hard, because binary search is the worst possible algorithm for the way CPU caches work. One of the things they don't tell you back in school. So I came up with Eitzinger arrays before it was even published. Eitzinger arrays are where you build up a binary search tree in an array, kind of the same way you would build up a standard binary heap. So this means prefetching actually works. So that, plus a whole bunch of crazy optimizations to make the nodes as small as possible, plus some other math so we can convert back from Eitzinger indexes to in-order traversals to get back to the sorted order representation. That made bcache's Btrfs implementation one of the fastest around. Actually, the fastest ordered persistent key value store as far as I know. That was when I knew I and the other guys working on bcache back then that we were onto something. We had something that might be a good basis for a file system.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to your weekly Linux talk show. My name is Chris.
My name is Wes.
Hello, gentlemen. Coming up on the show today, yes, bcachefs has shipped, and it wants to sting like ZFS and float like XFS. We'll bring the value to you this week and share insights from our in-depth conversation with Kent Overstreet, the creator of bcachefs. From the problems it is built to solve to the process of getting it past Linus himself and a lot more. We'll get into all of that. Then we'll round it out with some great boosts and picks and a lot more. So let's say good morning to our friends over at Tailscale. Tailscale.com/Linux Unplugged. Try it out for free on 100 devices. Tailscale.com/Linux Unplugged. It is really the easiest way to connect all your devices and services to each other, wherever they're at, across carrier-grade NAT, across the world, and it's fast, really fast, and it's powered and protected by
WireGuard.
That's right, Tailscale.com/Linux Unplugged. Go say good morning and try it out for free on 100 devices. Tailscale.com/Linux Unplugged. And, of course, time-appropriate greetings to our mumble room. Hello, Virtual Lug.
Hello, guys.
Hi, Chris. Hi, Wes. And hello, Brent.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much for joining us today, guys. Nice to see you there. We call that Mumble Room our low-latency audio feed because it is. It's Opus. It's running in Mumble, all free software, running on our Linux recording system, a free software stack. A great way to listen on Sunday while we do the show.
It's almost like you're here in the studio.
It is almost as good as it gets, really. NixCon North America and Scale are just around the corner, March 14th and 17th. Just a few episodes away, like 9 episodes, something like that away.
Yikes.
I do it in LUP.
That's smart.
Just that way we can think about, like, from a content standpoint. And with this trip, we're trying to do something kind of ambitious. We're in the middle of an ad winter, and it's always kind of been a goal of mine to go cover these Linux events. And the longer I do it, the more I actually think they're kind of essential to what we call the quote-unquote Linux community. What we see online is an echo of what actually takes place at these events. And that's where the real Linux community is. And I've always tried my best and always failed, and I'm always going to try to do better to cover these events and convey why that matters in free software. And I've always felt like the most honest way to do that is to get there either by paying for it on our own or by the audience helping us get there. Because it's like, I just want it to be a pure thing because I want it to be a pure contribution back to the free software community. And that's why this idea of trying to get to scale in NixCon was like, okay, this is maybe our opportunity. It is the adpocalypse. Maybe the audience will step up. And man, have they, because we've had a goal to raise 8 million sats via Boost. Very ambitious, but we're trying to cover the gas and an Airbnb and whatnot. And it's been going really well. So far, we have raised 92% of our goal. 7,324,551 sats towards our trip to go to scale. 92% of the way there.
Wow.
That's so impressive.
I'm really grateful. This has been not just a goal for this year, but doing something like this where JB could go cover it with no attachments to any commercial entity, just completely focused on the event, not trying to get a return for a sponsor, that we could cover something like this, powered by the audience, has been a long-term goal of mine. And we are 92% of the way to raising 8 million sats. I'd love to tip it over even a little bit just because it's California and it's extremely expensive. Now, listener Jeff pointed out on the live stream today that if you have some on-chain funds and you don't have an easy way to get them into Lightning so you can boost, well, there's a tool that the three of us have used in the past to do just that, to support our favorite podcast, and it's called boltz.exchange, boltz.exchange. And you can go both ways. You can go from on-chain to Lightning and Lightning to on-chain. If you got no idea what I'm talking about, don't worry, unplugcore.com. You can become a member and support us that way. That'll help get us there as well. But 92%, we're almost there. Help us close that gap and support the show at the same time. Thank you, everybody. All right, bcachefs, where does it fit? I think that's kind of everybody's question when I tell them bcachefs is shipped. In Linux 6.7, last Sunday as we were live, it came out.
But why should I care?
And why should you care? And Brent did the math, and I actually have already forgot what you said, Brent, but we've been talking about bcachefs here on this show since, survey says,
Linux Unplugged 158, which was 2016 in August.
Now, why have we been talking about a file system since August of 2016? And I would like to make the case, and you guys feel free to fact check or interrupt or whatever, but I feel like Linux still hasn't solved the problem of a completely robust competitive file system that is even semi-feature comparable to what an iPhone can do and what Windows XP can do. Extended 4 is a great file system. It's performant, it's reliable, it's lean and mean. Modern, it is not.
It's kind of impressive. It's worked so well for so long.
Yeah, and I'm grateful. You know what else worked so well for so long? HFS. Extended FAT. FAT32. Also, very fast file systems, low overhead, have served us well for a very long time. But they are inappropriate for a modern workstation or modern server workload. They're inappropriate. I think Extended 4 is inappropriate as well. I love what it's done for us, but I think we as a community have fallen behind. Some distributions, like Fedora, offer Btrfs, OpenSUSE, but before that, RiserFS. Of course, Ubuntu has made strides by offering ZFS as an installation option. But fundamentally, Extended 4 lacks certain features that an iPhone has, that every Mac that ships has, that Windows has had since XP. Things like shadow volume copies, in other words, snapshots and copies, and sub-volumes, maybe even compression or encryption. Things that protect users, protect the hardware like their SSD and reduce write. Things that are actually useful in a workstation environment like sub-volumes for home directories and things like that.
Right, things that can enable some of those workflows that we've talked about when we talked about like bulletproof Linux setups.
Or like on a server, having the ability to send your file system is an extremely useful functionality. And Btrfs and ZFS have this functionality, but Extended 4 does not. And XFS has been around a long time. In fact, XFS is older than Extended 4 and Extended 3 and others. It's a classic. It's been around since the 90s, but we still, as a community, haven't embraced it for whatever reason and made it the default file system, even though it continues to be developed. Extended 4 remains the champion. And I think, as a result, basic functionality is now lacking in both the desktop experience and in the server tooling experience. How do you build a standardized way, say in the Dolphin file manager, or maybe in systemd, to recover files and restore files if 90% of the file systems that are deployed out there by default don't have that functionality? You can't. You're not going to build the ability to recover files into Dolphin or on GNOME files unless there's a standardized API that maybe 60% or more of your user base could potentially have access to. Systemd isn't going to have this built in at a level that is extremely accessible and deployable until 90% of the servers deployed have this file system.
So like even though Linux has access to file systems with these advanced features, because, I don't know, they're not tested or they're not compatible or they're not trusted, whatever reason they're not fit in as the new default.
They're just not default, yeah.
The result is people just don't trust that we have those features available or willing to assume.
Why would you put the time into developing, say, a file recovery mechanism like shadow file copy that's been in Windows XP, since Windows XP? And Mac OS, I used to, on this here show, give them a hard time for HFS Plus.
Oh, yeah.
And then they layered Time Machine on top of that. And then they lapped and shamed us. And they even revamped Time Machine now to take advantage of the snapshot capabilities of their file systems. They even modernized Time Machine. They rolled out a brand new file system to all of their devices in production and then rewrote the backup tools that use it, rewrote the installer and fundamentally how Mac OS installation updates are done, while we've sat on our hands and done nothing. So it's embarrassing from a workstation standpoint, and it's kind of embarrassing on a server-side standpoint. And there must be some reason for it. But I hope, and I don't know if it's it, but my hope is that perhaps bcachefs will fit into this spot. What do you think, Wes?
You mean the new default Linux file system someday when it's
Someday.
ready?
When it's ready. We're not there yet. But bcachefs is what we're taking to calling a third-generation file system. And I think you probably explain this the best, Wes.
Well, I mean, if you just kind of think about cycles in technology, we had the generation of file systems that ext4 and XFS kind of came from. And then ZFS came on the scene, and it was one of the first copy-on-write file systems that was widely deployed and used and trusted and taught us the whole next set of features that you could expect from file systems. But ZFS got started sometime in 2004-ish? I don't know, something like that.
In the bowels of Sun Microsystems.
Right. And Btrfs, I guess it was, I don't know exactly when development started, but maybe 2008. It was merged anyway into the kernel in 2009. But bcachefs has had time to learn from those things, right? Like, you can take a look at how modern file systems have been designed, the existing stuff, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what issues they've run into. Because, I mean, ZFS and Btrfs are both great, but their designs have had to make compromises, and in today's era, maybe you want to sort of remake those compromises or take another whack at it, and you can have new simplifying assumptions, or at least look to see, like, if I was going to do this from scratch with these features not bolted on but designed in from the get-go, how might you do it? And that's at least some of what bcachefs is trying to do.
The challenge really is that bcachefs is moving quick, and I think the documentation can lag behind development, especially as things are getting added now that it's been mainlined. So when you look at the feature set today, I think it's safe to say it's got copy on write, all right? It's got extended ACL support, it's got subvolume support, but there are features that are missing that we would consider to be, when I'm sitting here going on about standard table stake features, there are some still from bcachefs that are not yet merged in.
Yeah, right. Send receive, for instance. That's not there. Snapshots work. Snapshots are doing great, seemingly, but not send receive quite yet. Erasure coding, aka like RAID 5, 6 type things, that's not yet in, but coming soon.
I think also there's probably a cohort of Btrfs users that have never been super thrilled with Btrfs, but maybe they don't want to use ZFS because it doesn't have a kernel module. They're on a Raspberry Pi, maybe low-end hardware. While bcachefs isn't yet optimized for low-end systems, I think there is still a cohort of Btrfs users that may want to migrate one day to bcache.
I think it'd be pretty easy too, just in the sense that there's a lot of similarity between the file systems, right? They're both in kernel, so you don't have to deal with anything new there.
Yes.
There's also a lot of places with bcachefs where the sort of user experience interface is quite similar if you're used to Btrfs, and the snapshot interface is sort of modeled on the way Btrfs does it, so that'll be familiar to you. And then I think you might just think, it's going to offer some things like better RAID if that is useful to you that your current file system can't really do.
So we had a lot of questions like what's working, what's next. So we asked Kent to join us on the pod, and he was out and about, but was kind enough to share some of his time with us. Well, that was your line. You go with he's a thoughtful guy or something there. You got lines, but you don't have to if you don't want to.
No, I'll take it. I don't know. You started with the first line. So
yeah, well, that's because I was queuing you up.
Oh, thanks. Okay, here we go.
It's a cue
Let's
for the cue.
pretend that didn't happen. Everybody just... He's a thoughtful guy and truly an expert on the state of modern file systems, from what I can tell. We want to share the highlights of that chat with you. And my biggest question going into this episode was, well, given ZFS and Btrfs and XFS, as we've been saying, why do you really need yet another modern file system?
Feature set of Btrfs and ZFS, but performance and reliability and scalability of XFS. If we can do that, then we'll have something.
The feature set. What did he say there? Hold on, let me play that. What did he say? I was adjusting because I thought I took the low out of that, but still had a lot of low in that clip. I'm going to play that again.
Yeah, let's get a reclip.
I'm going to do a reclip on that. The rest, some of these have been fixed, but some of them didn't get EQ'd.
Feature set of Btrfs
better, right?
and ZFS, but performance and reliability and
it's a little more
scalability of XFS. If we can do that, then we'll have something.
All right, let me get one more. I'm going to just do one more. I'm going to just do one more low cut on that.
XFS is going to be hard.
No, not that. This board
Don't give away spoilers.
It likes to move on to the next one, which is a good feature most of the time. It's a good feature.
Feature set of Btrfs and
That sounds better.
ZFS, but performance and reliability and scalability of XFS. If we can do that, then we'll have something.
So his quick answer, his elevator pitch is the feature set and reliability of ZFS, but the scalability of XFS and speed. Kind of like I said, he wants to have something, and I think he's really close. That stings like ZFS and floats like XFS that you could have built into your Linux kernel.
Yeah, I know there's some work. I'm not sure that's ready either, but work on like a no-cow path that turns off the copy on write and is aiming to be at least comparable to performance with XFS. I don't think it's there. There's a lot of optimizations Kent talks about that are on the table that can be done that have not yet been done. So, we'll see when do those actually land. But it seems like there's still plenty of low-hanging fruit out there.
Yeah, I think XFS is really, in his mind, the one file system to beat right now. Not ZFS so much.
XFS is going to be harder to dethrone. XFS performs and scales really well, and it's really robust. And I think those guys have been real professionals how they've been doing it. But it's also like a code base from the 90s. It shows its age in areas. And if we can really get the performance and the scalability to compete with XFS, that's what's on my mind.
And then the other, actually, you want to take the next one, Wes, since I've talked so much?
Did you have anything to say there? Or
I don't think so, unless you did.
Okay,
No.
yeah.
Go ahead, Brent.
I could
Sorry.
add something.
Yeah.
More of a personal experience thing. So, Jens, I know you've used XFS in the past. I'm curious what your opinion is. Chris, you've probably used pretty much every file system.
I mean, I still have XFS quite a bit upstairs on my big old scary RAID. That's what I use. I'm actually using LVM and then XFS on top of that. I've used it in production too. It is a really good file system. It was one of the first ones that I used because it had extended attribute support, which was necessary for Windows shops for the clients that I was deploying at. And
right.
it has a good recovery tool set. Like the thing that I think I really appreciate is I have been in situations where I've had to recover data and XFS tooling was there for me. It came through. The file system was solid. I think I agree with Kent. Performance-wise, feature set-wise, it is one to beat.
Right. Yeah. If you're not like relying on some of these modern, file system things like snapshots or copy on write functionality, then XFS has always been the thing I've reached for. And now they've been trying to add some of those advanced features on, but it's an old design from the 90s that you kind of have to stretch and make work in this paradigm. Whereas bcachefs is just, it's modern. It's had time to learn from both file systems, but also from databases, which is something Kent spent a lot of time looking into. And it's actually kind of like a file system on top of a database.
Yeah, that's where I put most of my effort in for sure. And that was the dream. Like, there's been multiple efforts to do that. Microsoft had a big one, ReFS, but it's hard to make a like a generic database scale in all the ways that a file system can, or if a file system needs to. And so that was a pretty ambitious project. And compared like technology-wise to ZFS or Btrfs, the other two main contenders feature set-wise, ZFS was able to do snapshots by giving up on extents. And it's the old indirect block scheme. And if you've done file system with snapshots, you understand why they did that. Extents that overlap in arbitrary ways plus snapshots introduces lots of brain melting problems. And considering it was the first mainstream, I mean, there was Waffle before, the first mainstream file systems for snapshots, it's pretty understandable. But performance-wise, it's never going to scale as well as something that's extent based.
I think too, when you're launching a new file system post Btrfs, there's some natural questions Linux users are going to have around, well, have you solved for this problem? Have you solved for this problem? So we talked to Ken about that. You also asked a great question about erasure coding.
I am really excited about erasure coding in bcachefs because the vast majority of it is done, and the design did turn out really, really nicely. No write hole. I'm excited to put it through more benchmarking. Like functionality-wise, like all the core algorithmic problems are done. Getting it to play nicely with copy GC was a big endeavor, but actually stabilizing a feature and getting it really ready for prime time, that's like as long as developing it was in the first place. So.
Now, I need a little lesson here for those of us who are less file system initiated. He mentioned, you mentioned eraser coding. Can you give us an insight into what that is? And he mentioned also the write hole. I have guesses.
Yeah. So this is a classic problem that Btrfs has been struggling with for a while. And, well, actually, Kent kind of goes into why it's been a big problem for Btrfs. And it's sort of a design issue that bcachefs just simply isn't going to be subject to.
Like you mentioned, the RAID hole has always been the big problem in RAID systems. When you're doing RAID 5 and 6, this doesn't apply to RAID 1. And you've got these stripes of unrelated data, and you've got parity blocks that let you reconstruct any of those fails. Well, if you do a partial overwrite to some of the data in a stripe, it's fine if you're writing a whole stripe's worth at one time, but that doesn't usually happen because your writes are usually not aligned so nicely. And the stripes are also quite big. Then there's always a window in time where the data that you updated is inconsistent with the P and the Q block because you can't do writes to different drives atomically. There's always going to be a window where either your redundancy information got written and the new data didn't get written, or the new data did get written and the new redundancy information didn't get written. And you think, oh, that's not so bad. And the data that I wrote is possibly inconsistent if I crash, but that's just the data that I wrote. I mean, most applications can deal with stuff that they were in the progress of writing that wasn't fsync being corrupt. But actually, no, because this causes, if you then crash and lose a drive, so you have to do reconstruct reads, it will cause you to reconstruct incorrect data for everything else in that stripe that shared the P and the Q with. So it's a really nasty issue.
And this is the fundamental problem that bcachefs has been struggling with. And the reason why bcachefs, and this is the fundamental problem that Btrfs has been struggling with. They're close to a fix. I think they're testing it, but and it's really burned their reputation. I would add.
Yeah, right. And it's one of the things that ZFS has had working, and is a reason to use ZFS. And Brent, to your question, this is when you want to use something like RAID 5, RAID 6, where you're not doing a full mirror type setup because you want to get more efficiency. You want to be able to store more with less, having to use fewer disks. And so you use these parity calculation, or you can write these parity bits instead of more replicas. And you could do it with Btrfs, you could do it with MD-RAID, but you're going to run into these write hole problems depending on the setup, and Btrfs just didn't have an answer for it. So Linux hasn't had a very good default answer for that problem unless you want to go with ZFS.
Which means, as far as file systems built into Linux, we haven't had a great answer. The reason why bcachefs doesn't have this problem, well,
we're a copy on write file system. Our whole file system is based on not overriding existing data in place. So why would we even overwrite a part of a stripe in place? We just create big stripes, same as we normally write to buckets, and we'll create new stripes as needed, but we won't overwrite our existing stripes. It's kind of integrated with our garbage collection. The one trick to that is that as we're building up stripes, we'll always be building up full stripes, not small stripes like ZFS does. Data won't be redundant right away because we can't write out the P and the Q until we have a full stripe's worth of data. So we just replicate the writes initially, and then as soon as we've built up a stripe, then we discard the extra replicas. And then the cool thing about that is that if nothing in the system doesn't f-sync, forces a flush, then we can overwrite those buckets where we wrote the extra replicas to for the next replicated write, and it'll only cost us bus bandwidth. There will be a very small performance hit to these extra replicated writes.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a neat idea where you basically start by doing an extra replication, so you do have to have more copies than you need, but only until you've sort of spooled enough writes where you can write out the P and Q parity bits, and then you fix everything up and the extra data goes away and you get a really nice on-disk layout. And if things go well in terms of f-sync, you kind of get to use the same area on disk to just keep doing that over and over as you're writing to the disk, so it can all be very quick.
Oh, Kolide.com, KOLIDE.com/unplugged. If you're feeling burned out and you keep having to solve the same problems over and over again with your end users, and you need some centralized spot where you can get a handle on your Macs, your Windows, and your Linuxes, Kolide is your solution. KOLIDE, Kolide.com solves this problem. Go check them out. They are the only sponsor of this show, so visiting there supports them, checking them out. It's a great way to support, and could be a great way to solve IT burnout in your workplace while supporting the show. KOLIDE.com/unplugged.
Well, all that theory sounds nice, but...
Wait, maybe do it again where I'm not clearing my throat. I'm sorry, we're a mess. You were on it. It was me.
Well, all that theory sounds nice, but if you're a practical file system user out there, you might be wondering, what types of workloads is bcachefs actually ready for or even meant for?
Workload-wise, people are throwing database workloads at it. There's a guy out in China who's been throwing really crazy MongoDB workloads at it and pushing snapshots really hard. Yeah, ideally, any workload, it should be a truly general-purpose file system. Scales just fine. I know I've heard people say that Btrfs does not really scale past maybe 100 snapshots. The FSCK algorithms do not handle the references from keys to multiple keys and other snapshots very well. But bcachefs should scale to as many snapshots as you can take. It's got writable snapshots. The compression is really good. People have been really happy with that.
Oh, I heard that, and I said, oh, wait, I'd like to know more about the compression.
But yeah, the way bcachefs does compression is extent-based instead of block-based. So we're doing compression at 64 or 128K granularity, which is quite a bit better than is typical. And so our compression ratios are quite a bit better than other file systems that do compression.
We follow the process of these projects getting upstreamed, and at times there are moments of drama. And a lot of times it's when the developer has to interact with the kernel maintainer. Well, in this case, that means Kent has to interact with Linus, and he got feedback from Linus, which he incorporated. So we wanted to know what that experience was like.
Oh, that was stressful. It's stressful partly because no one really knows what the process is or should be. The process is always kind of ad hoc, consensus based, but all the people you need consensus from are kind of angry and irritable and don't want to be bothered. But that's also as it should be. The bar should be high. We do want to have high standards, and we do want to be pushing people to write the best code that they can. And there's questions like who's going to be on the hook for maintaining this thing down the line, all the other people in the VFS that have to deal with file systems. Like if you're hacking on VFS code, which I've done in the past, and then you have to update all the file systems or all the block layer drivers, then code that gets added, it's overhead for you. And if that code maybe is a pain to work with, if the tests aren't there, then those are very real issues.
I think another common concern that I've heard people bring up is, well, is this just one guy?
Right. Just because it's merged in the kernel doesn't mean anyone else in the kernel knows how or wants to work on it.
Yes, that's forefront of my mind. Now that I'm upstream, it looks like funding is going to be getting easier. I had a decent amount of funding for like 6 years from a company in Germany that was enough for me to work on it full time. And then tech downturn happened. Actually, video edit, like the strikes in LA was what did it for them. They had to pull back. So now I'm just on my Patreon funding. But now that I'm upstream, I'm getting more attention from like the NixOS guys and foundations in Europe. And there might actually be money for spinning up an actual team and getting some younger guys involved.
That would be great. Get some young blood into the kernel, learn from somebody like Kent who really knows his stuff. Did you catch it, Brent? Did you catch what he said in there?
I heard that special N-word that we love around here.
I certainly did too. Yeah. I was like, oh, now what's going on with Nix?
Also, just the NixOS people have been great to work with. They've been kind of at the forefront of getting bcachefs out there and getting integration stuff sorted and just doing stuff without B having to get involved at all. They've been great to work with. And now there's people from the foundation that funds NixOS that are talking about sending some funding my way. That'll be really cool if that happens.
Yeah, that would be. Wouldn't that be great?
Huh. Two great things working together.
And Nix has been a great way to experiment with bcachefs along the way.
Oh yeah, it makes it really easy.
Mm-hmm. So it's like before we talked before we spoke with Kent, we decided, well, let's take a really quick look at it. We didn't do much. We just looked at the tooling and looked at it, but Nix makes it really, really, really possible. He also was like talking about how he wants to rebuild his test environment on Nix to make it a lot cleaner. He has a lot of good things to say about the Nix folks.
Yeah, we did not prod, and it just came up in discussion.
Yeah, you know what else? Well, actually, this one maybe had a slight prodding by Wes Payne, but this also came up in the conversation. One other reoccurring topic.
I'll definitely be an early one. Yeah, I am all for Rust. I dipped into Rust years ago. What, eight or so years ago, and just fell in love with it pretty early on. It's, in my opinion, the biggest advance that we've had in systems programming for decades. The dream to me, I hate debugging. I want to be able to finish a chunk of code and move on to the next thing and know that the code that I wrote is done, is correct, that I'm not going to have to come back to it. Rust with the borrow checker is able to prove the correctness of huge swaths of things that we had to analyze manually before. It makes huge classes of bugs go away.
I'd like to know if people like it when we go this deep, when we get this technical. Maybe people are glazing over at this point, but I really enjoyed picking his brain about this stuff. And he has a wealth of knowledge about other file systems as well.
There's some pretty decent docs over at bcachefs.org, including a user manual, which goes into more detail, if you want it, about the architecture underneath the file system, the extents, buckets, and how compression and encryption works.
I know you just mentioned this as feeling like a technical talk, but I love hearing about the people working on these technologies as well. And so often we just concentrate on the technology itself, but there's a real human writing this stuff, it turns out, and someone who's passionate about some of the tools we are.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like Kent is unplugged people. He would so fit in at a meetup. It's ridiculous. So when we got connected, first of all, he talked about NixOS, right? He's a Rust fan, and he's a file system developer. So
obviously a Linux user.
Yeah. So like those are all checking the boxes to be great to talk to at a meetup. But when we got connected to him, he was on video, and he was hanging out, chilling, camping across the country in the back of his Subaru.
When it got merged, I was in Badlands National Park, way down a dirt road, camped out over just gorgeous scenery, middle of nowhere.
He's just doing it. You know, it's not like a super glorious setup, but he's just making it work. And he's changing the Linux file system landscape from the back of his Subaru while he's traveling. I guess he was in Portland not too long ago too, so we just missed him. Maybe if he ever makes it out again, we'll take him out, show him a great time. Super, super grateful for Kent for taking some time to talk with us from the road. I think it was snowing behind him too, so I hope he's staying warm out there. We should have asked him what he's got for heat. But it was a great chat, and it really made me excited for the future of bcachefs. I think it's in the keep an eye and test it stage.
Yeah, exactly, right? It only just got merged. I know like 6.8, there's already some performance improvements coming down the pipe, so probably be a few releases while things stabilize and check out. But yeah, try it out on some test workloads and see what you think.
The on-disk format should be solid, is stable, has been stable for years. I mean, he essentially had some of the basics of it figured out in 2015 when he started it, and some of that really hasn't changed.
Yeah, right. Kind of grew out of bcache underneath, and then it's got the B tree layer and the transactional database on top of the B tree, and then you got the file system.
Unpluggedcore.com. Use promo code 2024 and take $3 off a month forever for your membership. You get double the content. You could get the live stream, which as of right now is a 2-hour and 16-minute-ish episode of the show. You support each production directly. If you use the promo code 2024, you, for a very limited time, get that deal. Now, I checked on it this morning. 2 spots are left. And I thought, what are the chances? Somebody's going to use that maybe on the live stream. By the time this publishes, nobody will get to take advantage of it. Thank you, everybody who did, by the way. So I'm going to add 10 more slots just for people that didn't get a chance to hear it last week. 10 more slots. If you use the promo code 2024, it'll take $3 off a month forever. We'll put a link directly to that. And then you get the live stream version, the bootleg, or the ad-free version that Drew still cuts together so you get that nice tight production. But they're going quick. It applies to new purchases, existing members, or if you're reactivating an expired subscription, or if you want to upgrade to a network membership, it'll apply to that too, which then you support all the shows. Of course, you can always boost in as well. The nice thing about that, of course, is that immediately goes directly to the people involved in the production. We also kick back some to the Podverse developers and the Podcast Index as well to help support those projects. And we're counting those towards our trip to scale. Thank you, everybody who has become a member, though. You can become a member at unpluggedcore.com, and, of course, we have links on our website. Might as well do a plug for the feedback page.
Sure. Now, we've been doing some crazy stuff here this year, and we'd love to hear if you've been joining us, say, on the 32-bit challenge, or what you think of these new file systems. linuxunplugged.com/contact for that, or you can boost in.
Boostagram.
Thank you, everybody who does boost in. And we have a manual boost this week. Our first ever on-chain boost, gentlemen. And it's probably a good thing because of the size of this whopper. And this is helping us get to scale. This got us a big way to our goal that we talked about earlier today. Came in via Matrix from IMAPI on January 8th for $3,225,275. Officially making IMAPI the largest booster in the history of the Unplugged podcast.
Giant boost comes in a unique way. What?
Yes, he writes, first time, long time, and long time Linux user as well. Well, thank you. Remember when kernel 2.0 came out and MUDs were still cool? Yes. All right.
Heck yes.
Oh, man. 2.0. Come on, man. That's not that long ago, right? Anyways, he writes, I've been a listener of your podcast for about 6 years now. The insights and advice I've gained have been invaluable as my role as a CTO in a governmental institution and in managing my own small business. I love that he's a CTO in a government institution and he's boosting us. That is a good sign. That's
special.
That's making me feel good. He says, this boost is a token of appreciation for the tremendous work you do. If it is possible, it would be great to have the show focus on crucial topics from the perspective of a large institution, maybe central identity like free IPA and administration. Enterprise things like identity are an interesting topic for sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, he says, keep up the excellent work, and I look forward to the return of Linux Action News one day. If I remember correctly, this boost will be the largest ever. Correct, you are, sir. And I challenge everyone to beat me.
Challenge on.
As you should. Thank you so much for that tremendous support. That's very, very, very much appreciated. And that played a big role in our over 90% milestone this week. So very much, very much. And then, geez, wow, very much also appreciating Deleted coming in as our second baller for 623,456 sats. He says third place is just a fancy word for losing. When I did my 32-bit challenge, I allowed myself a, quote, unlimited budget. If there was a problem that could be solved with money, I didn't hesitate to spend it.
I like this approach.
That meant, big upgrades like on SSDs that use PATA and upgrading from 1 gig to 2 gigs. The difficulty of sourcing these upgrades was immense, and I had to buy from some very shady vendors, one of which still hasn't delivered my order.
Oh, no.
Systems that are focused to continue to run 32-bit only are going to become extremely difficult to support. Systems that are forced, he says, to continue. I know, and maybe you could become a specialist. I felt like, and I still feel like my takeaway was, and I'd be curious to know if you guys feel this way, we could not probably do this challenge at the end of this year. Like, that was maybe the doors closing.
Uh-huh.
Did you get that sense too?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, the software support is limited or a hassle. And then the hardware support is just going to keep degrading even if people elect to continue software support.
And it sounds like where there was support, you often had to build it yourself, and the hardware couldn't really handle that in a reasonable way. So it's a lose-lose. Chris, I did notice that was multiple boosts, and one of those was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the stupidest combination I ever heard in my life.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice catch.
Rotted Mood came in with a live boost for 100,000 sats.
8 lanes of shimmering cement running from here to Pasadena.
Just says, scale boost. And thank you.
Scale boost.
We appreciate the help.
We do.
Nice.
If you do boost in with a scale boost too, let us know if we're going to see you there. Would love to put a name to the boost. I'd love to put a face to the boost name.
VT52 boosted in with a total of 2 boosts, 96,459 sats. And one of those was a row of ducks.
Oh.
BSD Bake-Off with Brentley. When?
I don't know if the audience appreciates the scale at to which I find BSD annoying. This would be one of the hardest challenges. I also proposed a challenge to the boys over the break, and neither one of them bit even a little bit. Well, go ahead, Brandon.
Well, I'm just curious, when's the last time you actually gave BSD like a good run?
In my nightmare last night? In my nightmares.
Reasons? Like, if you had to give top 3 reasons?
It's like if you were born on Earth and then you tried to live on Mars. It would be just possible, but constant friction.
See, I was enjoying I liked that challenge. I was down to do it. I was just having such an easy time with my part of the 32-bit challenge. I didn't do
Yeah, Mr. Mangio over there.
Uh-huh. So I think a bake-off sounds great.
I mean, I got to be convinced. I don't know. I really...
That FreeBSD kernel has some neat stuff in it. OpenBSD does some neat stuff.
We'll give you
too.
better hardware.
If somebody give me something I could do and some ideas and maybe what to try, I'd consider.
Make a router challenge.
I like my idea a lot better than the BSD challenge idea. But it's fine. It's fine. Thank you for the support. I don't know about a BSD bake-off, though.
Now, VT's second boost. Due to some weather-related ISP issues, I haven't been able to finish customizing it, but I've got a BBS up and running if folks are interested. You can tell them at pebcac.lol, which is a great URL. And PS.
I don't see it's not responding. Is it up? Is it up right now?
Due to some weather-related ISP issues, I haven't been able to finish customizing it.
Oh,
So
no, I'm
maybe-
getting
maybe
something.
it's-
Look at this.
Are you getting it?
Synchronet BBS for Linux version 3.19.
All right, awesome.
Pepcac.lol, yeah.
I think this is our first boosted in claim of so it's pebcac.lol, PEBKAC.lol.
Some lovely ASCII art in the banner here.
That's great. Nice job. VT, you crushed it.
I think that means we now have a crowning official BBS for JB, don't we?
You know what's wild is VT boosted that on the 8th. And the episode went out on the 7th. So he did that like
Wow.
he did
It's
that.
impressive.
Wasted no time.
What's even more wild about it is the boost came in, at least our time, at 8 a.m. And then the episode had only been out probably for like 12 hours at most. So he got this BBS. Maybe he already had it? I don't know. But well done. Well done. Bullapara comes in with 60,000 sats using the index. Here's a small amount to get the gang a little closer to scale. And if you end up at Texas Linux Fest, I hope to come say hi to y'all. Great shows.
California. Beautiful.
Thank you. We're going to get there. Helping us ticket one episode at a time. We're going to be showing up like bosses. People will be like, oh, yeah, how'd you get here? We'll be like, sats.
I paid for that Linux limo.
That's what people say, right? When you show up at a place, they'll be like, hey, how'd you get here? That's a pretty standard
Well, you'll be
question.
wearing your Bitcoin shirt.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not great OPSEC, actually. not the best. Not great.
Space Nerd Mo comes in with 55,555 cents.
I love that name.
Coming in hot with the boost.
Kicking in to help with the journey to scale.
Thank you very much.
8 lanes of shimmering cement running from here to Pasadena.
Appreciate that.
Mixie Beep boosted in with 50,000 sats from Castomatic, simply saying, scale boost.
California. Beautiful.
That's very much appreciated. We're getting there. We're going to get there, and then I'm going to miss all these boosts. So, it's going to be a thing. But we still love hearing from you guys. You have to keep boosting in. But we really appreciate the support. Knights62 came in with 50,000 sats and says this boost is to help contribute to getting to scale. Yes!
8 lanes of shimmering cement running from here to Pasadena.
I wish I could meet you all there, but March is packed already. Yeah, I understand. Maybe next time. Thanks for all the awesome content. By the way, I joined the Jupiter.party so I could enjoy the Fiat Fun coupons too. Knights, I appreciate the double support and helping us get to scale. We'll try to do the best we can conveying the experience so you can kind of get a sense of what it's like. I always feel like we don't quite nail it, but we're going to try our best. I feel very inspired by all the support.
Got any ideas of how we can document it for you? Boost in.
What would you like to know? Yeah, definitely let us know.
Hybrid Sarcasm. What? Hybrid Sarcasm boosting in with 4 boosts for a total of 41,000. But I think it's important here to note that there are 3 empty boosts of 12,345, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a final boost for 3,965 sats that just says they've gone to plaid.
He sent us the entire Spaceballs boost stack in one boost and unlocked it.
Hell was that? Spaceball 1. They've gone to plaid.
Our first gone to plaid boost. Well done, Hybrid Sarcasm. Well done. The whole stack right there in one go.
Jagbert boosted in again this episode, 30,066 Satoshis. Time to do my zip code boost. Also, glad Brent got the pronunciation of my username right last episode. Jagbert.
Well done, Brent. Well done.
I guessed, and I happened to get it right, so.
Well, if this is a U.S. zip code, it looks like it's a postal code in Cobb County, Georgia, with cities including Marietta.
Well, hello, Cobb County. Hope
Thanks
you're
for
doing well out
boosting in.
there. Yes, thank you for boosting in.
Let us know if we got that right or totally off base. Sometimes we got to go to the whole globe, and I get confused.
It's a big map. I'm always impressed how quick you can do it.
And you always hand it to me upside down.
Yeah. Remaking Eden comes in with 12,191 sats. Okay, I've been waiting for my time to do a postcode boost. We also have 2 letters here. The first 2 numbers are a letter, and the second 2 numbers are a letter. Okay. The first half of my postcode, it's the first half of my postcode they write. I do the full thing, but we need to take out a considerable load.
Understandable.
Really enjoyed the 30-minute challenge. Keep up the great work. Remaking that was just made me laugh. So, Wes, I see you're doing the math over it. Wow, look at you.
I don't know if this is right. Check my math here, boys. But if it's like saying 12 is a letter, 19 is a letter, and then we just got this one here at the end from 12191. Okay, 12 could be L, and then that would make 19 S.
Yes.
So we'd have LS1, which seems to be a postal code in Leeds, England. But then I don't know, is that the full code? Because that could be wrong because, Remaking Eden notes that it's half the postcode. Brent's got an idea.
I wonder, maybe this follows the same rule as the boost we had last week, which was it letter, number, letter? Mm-hmm. But the way they described it is just a little off. So maybe it's, what is it here? 12 would be the alphanumeric that we're looking for, and then a 1 and 10, considering it was 12,191. Can we try that? I wonder if that makes a little bit more sense.
I'm not sure I followed that. Okay, so...
Yeah. 12 in the alphabet is which letter?
L.
Nerds. All right.
And then just a 1, that's our next character. And then 9 plus 1 is 10. So what's 10 in the alphabet?
I don't have my chart up anymore, Brent.
You're killing me. Drew, you gotta cut all this. You gotta cut this.
Sorry, Drew.
Drew. Whose turn is it? Now I've lost.
Yeah.
I've lost the whole plot.
It's a J, Brent. It's a J.
No, you're encouraging it. I don't even remember where we're at. Yeah. It's my turn, isn't it? It's my turn. No, it's Brent's turn. I think it's Brent's turn, isn't it?
You sure you want me to go?
I don't know. I'll go.
It's your favorite username.
Southern Fried Sassafras comes in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Spaceballs boost.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. That's amazing. I've got the same combination on my luggage.
Using the podcast index, and they write one negative of catching up while driving is that I almost forget the topic I wanted to boost in on. Barring that, keep up the good work, and may the Schwartz be with you. Yeah, I understand. I get it. You.
Now, our dear friend Cessna Mike has a little trick for you that Chris really loves.
Oh, I do love this. And I don't know why I haven't actually adopted it, but when Cessna Mike is flying, and I imagine other pilots as well, he gets a notepad and and it's got a strap, and it straps around his thigh, and it's right there on his leg while he's flying.
Ready to go.
And he can just note stuff down. I imagine the pen attaches in some clever way. I didn't really analyze his general crotch region, but that's where it's at. And I think Southern Fried Sassafras and myself would both benefit from such a thing.
Indeed.
If we remember, we'll look it up in the post show, and I might get one. But thank you for the boost.
Now, you got 2 thighs, Chris. What else would you strap to the other thigh?
Well, I've always got to have my gun, you know.
Maybe an O-droid?
Yeah. In a gun case, though, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, it's got to be cool.
Otterbrain boosts in with 2,000 cents. First time booster. Thanks for the show and the community. My first Linux install was a dual boot Yellow Dog Linux / Mac OS 9.
Yes.
On my wife's Apple PowerPC home graphic design production machine that she graciously let me play on outside of work hours. Oh,
wow,
I sympathize with that, Otterbrain.
Otterbrain, well done. Well, it does feel a little risky too. And you know what I like to think, because it makes me feel good, is that users like you and I that were pioneering Yellow Dog Linux on these machines, we validated Yum, which was then brought to Fedora and then later became, DNF or inspired DNF. So, thanks to basically Otterbrain and me, we have DNF is what I'm saying.
Wow.
Yeah, right? That checks out. Kirasia comes in with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sats.
So the combination is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the stupidest combination I ever heard in my life.
And this is a great suggestion. They write, I'd say for the scale sound effect, maybe get Lady Jupe's accelerating.
Oh.
She has the quietest engine for something that big. And if you get down to the pipe, you can hear the lug 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 lug. Like there is an old school lug 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 engine in there. But man, has Ford muffled that thing, rightfully so. It's very quiet. And you can crawl through the campground and not make a noise. Unlike the diesel pushers, which man, they just wake up the whole neighborhood. But I would love to get a sounder for accelerating because still when that V10 gets going and that thing's designed to rev so it gets up to like 5,000, 6,000, just getting on the freeway and it holds it there. It sounds like a beast. I love it.
Now, SWAT came in with a row of ducks. Hey, since you like Winamp, wait, Chris, you like Winamp, right?
Yeah, I do. I feel like it.
I like Winamp.
I feel like it's, taking care of certain things in the behind region.
Off the rails.
It's just it's llamas. You gotta keep,
yeah, you do.
You know what I'm
Don't
saying.
mess that up.
No.
Winamp, which also brings back fond memories for me as well. I wanted to share a find. Jordan Elredge made a web re-implementation of Winamp, so we can enjoy the original version on all OSs, preferably via Firefox, of course. Although XMMS was not so bad either.
That's pretty nice. And it's up on GitHub too if you want to check it out. And it even has like a windowed mode and a little desktop environment that kind of looks like old school Windows. Very impressed.
I love the name too, WebAmp.
WebAmp, right. Yeah, it's probably good not to actually use the real name. What was that, Wes?
They've also got some themes right here. There's a Winamp skin museum. There's skins right on the desktop that you can go with. This is nice.
Yeah, this is well done. I would say indeed that is taking care of the llamas behind region, I guess. D3Bot comes in with some Spaceballs.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, that's amazing. I've got the same combination on my luggage.
And they're using Podverse, the GPL cross-platform podcasting 2.0 app. And they say, I had to change my luggage because of that soundbite. I know, right? It's embarrassing. It happens.
Just go the opposite way.
Yeah, who's never like that? No. For real though, thanks for the membership discount code. I've been occasional booster, but I wanted to get the ad-free feeds and occasionally the wacky unedited live feed. And it's a wacky one.
The
occasionally
wacky feed, that's the new
it's,
brand.
it's a wacky one this week. It is. Now that should be 4 million.
Oh yeah, that doesn't count the manual boost, but I could add that real quick if you'd like.
Yeah. Let's...
Do we have intermission music?
Yeah, we need some.
What do you want?
Can you hum, Brent?
Yeah.
Well, there's that old
Oh
intermission.
yeah. What did I do with the intermission? Right. I surfaced that like once and I never used it again. And I love it. Do I have that on here?
You played it like a couple of weeks ago, I think.
I know. I don't remember what soundboard I played that on. It was random. Let's see if I can.
You need an intermission soundboard, clearly.
Nope, that ain't it. It's not bad. Here it is.
Welcome to the office.
Here it is.
Welcome to intermission.
So good.
Yeah, intermission.
What? No repeat. All right. Well, I'm ready.
I know.
We're refreshing over here.
How dare you?
How are the cats doing, Brent?
Well, I'm sure they're asleep in front of the old wood stove because that thing hasn't run in a couple of days because of an experiment.
Experiment?
But I did run it today and I ran it real hot.
I was thinking of you. You know, if my power went out while it's cold, I wish I would have had a wood
Yeah.
stove.
You know, they are handy.
Yeah, they are.
But there's the problem of, gathering wood. It turns out that's quite the task.
I'm going to save that.
You have it
probably
saved. You just need to remember where it is.
I just found it. Gosh darn it. I just found it.
Welcome to intermission.
Round two. Intermission again, everyone.
No, it's good. That's good.
Forced intermission.
No, we're good. I got it. Good. I did it.
You professional.
Now tell us how many boosts we got.
I'm still chewing.
What did you get?
I grabbed a little protein bar, you know?
Oh,
I had
thought
to
you were
use-
chewing on the beer, the 4-year-old beer.
Well, I got hungry. It made me snaggy.
Yeah, he broke the food seal.
I did. I did.
Jess says, Chris, you're doing a good job.
Thank you. Thank you. You're right. You're right.
You're doing a good job.
Okay. Swallowed. Excuse me. Just I knew I was about to get all like hangry, you know? I didn't want that.
You got to get in the headspace. So you just read Dex
That's what I'm doing.
Awesome boost.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Were you doing that too? We all were just getting zoned in, weren't we?
Oh,
we all clicked in right at the same time.
Sorry for peeking through.
Thank you again, DexBot. And I hope you enjoy the live feed this episode. I definitely recommend checking it out. Thank you, everybody who boosts in. We had 16 boosters this week. Now, across the standard boost system, we still brought in a remarkable 1.1 million sats. Thank you, everybody.
That's great by any standard.
Absolutely. And I don't know. I
agree completely.
Yeah.
Streamers? You want to thank the streamers?
It is absolutely just a huge, huge, remarkable thing that we're actually going to get to this milestone. I just didn't know if we could do it, and it is really great to see it. So thank you, everybody who does boost in or has been streaming in.
I see you all in Han or streaming us right now.
Really? That's great. Somebody's listening. They don't even know we're talking about them, dude. And they're streaming us sats. That's so cool. So thank you, everybody who supports us, either with a boost or by membership or by streaming those sats. Now, we did get that on-chain boost. So before we get there, I just want to say thank you to all the traditional boosters.
You're doing a good job.
And then, thanks to IMAPI, we had that 3 million sat boost. That put us to a grand total this week of 4,186,259 sats raised. That is really remarkable, and it does indeed.
Winner. It really whips the llama's ass.
Thank you, everyone. I think we're, at this point, I think it's a lock. I would love to get to our milestone just in case the price slides a bit, just in case gas goes up a bit. I would love to make it to that milestone, but I think at this point, one way or another, like we're going to make it happen. Even if we're personally thrown in or whatever, like we're going to get there at that point. So it's a lock. So close.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love to complete that milestone so that way we have that insurance policy, we have that safety, and we're not taking that risk. But man, this has been really great to see. And we are coming up with another solution for Texas Linux Fest. We don't want to come and ask for every single thing. We're trying to be really respectful about that. And this is a value for value production. It's a fantastic way. Is not only are you supporting the show, but you're kind of helping us get to that next big content thing that we can then turn around and make a show out of for you. So it's kind of a great investment in future entertainment and hopefully information, if you will. Now, we have all kinds of links in the show notes, so go over to linuxunplug.com/545. No special pick for you this week, but we do have a question. Either write this in on the contact form or please boost in. Do you agree? Is it time to replace Extended 4 practically everywhere? Not necessarily everywhere in every use case, but is it time for Extended 4 to retire and for something else to come in its place? Or maybe I'm wrong. I have a sense I could be way off on this just because I don't hear a lot of people talking about this issue. So I'd love to know your feedback either via Boost or via the contact page. Let us know, and that'll help shape our future.
Are you ready to move on?
Now, we are live. We do this here show on Sundays at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.
And we now have the new Jupiter Station feed. Go search into Podcasting 2.0. We have a lit feed, Jupiter Station, and you can listen live in your podcast app. You don't have to switch apps. I've always thought that was so weird.
Right? Why can't we just be live right there where you're already looking at the past shows that maybe you're catching up on?
Yeah.
Podverse, Fountain.
I'm going to toss some recordings and clips from the live streams into the feed too, so when we're not live, there's still some stuff in there. It's Jupiter Station, brand new. Just launching it this week. Links to everything we talked about on the website. Appreciate you very much for listening or sharing the show, and of course for always tuning in. Thank you to our Mumble Room for helping us as well. They're always great, and our live stream. Got lots of thanks. We'll see you right back here next Sunday. Thank you, Drew. Thank you. Really appreciate you. All right, Brentley.
Hey, when are we getting EXT5?
Well, it was supposed to. That was what Btrfs was. But they almost called Btrfs Extended 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Nope.
Oh, that's funny.
I'll stop.
Yeah, right. I mean, they're so similar in some ways that you can do the whole upgrade.
Yeah, you can migrate. You can convert and extend 4 to Btrfs.
I
always
still
wondered
wasn't
about
quite
that.
enough to get it to default.
Nope.
Anyone have like good luck doing that? I tried it once.
Oh yeah, I've done it.
before, yeah.
I've done it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Well, extended 4 is very simple.
It's not extended. It's just symbol 4.
But that means it makes it easy to do that kind of thing too.
Hey guys, it's got a journal. Okay, it's pretty cool.
That's true. You know,
That used to be
You
cool.
want a
we
journal?
didn't have that
You want a
over.
journal, yeah. Better than no journal.
Hey, what was I going to look up after the show? Remember, I was like, tell me after the show and I'll.
Yeah, that thing. You made a list. There were 2 things.
Oh, the leg list thing. This thing so I could write stuff down. See, I could use this just doing the show too, not just driving.
I was thinking about it on the drive up today, right? I was listening to bcachefs stuff. Could have taken some more notes.
What do you call it? Leg notes?
Pilot's note.
I like leg notes.
Leggy
See what
notes.
you get with that.
All right, I'm going to do
If it
leg notes.
doesn't
I'm not going to do
exist, we
pilot.
can
I'll
come
just
up-
do leg notes. Leg notes.
Oh, I can't. Just do the image search.
Let's see what we get with leg notes. Not what? Airplane footrest. Travel airplane footrest.
Now you're talking.
That's flying in style.
Crab claw pens, lobster claw pens, 2024 newest fun ballpoint pens. They're crabs and they're ballpoint. They're fun.
We need new pens around the studio, you know.
That's true.
It sounds like we need new search engines.
Way down, I get a field notebook. That's not great results, though. That's not great. Last chance to bang suggest chat room.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, please do.
Now I'm gonna.
You're all so clever.
I'm gonna search for pilot leg notes. Oh, here we go. You know what it is? I'm thinking about this too. I'm going too direct. I'm looking for the end-to-end product. What I need is to build it up myself.
Do it the Linux way. Compose things. Get some straps.
Here we go. Pilot kneeboard aluminum aviation kneeboard pilot notepad with pen holder and elastic strap for pilot writing set.
But who's it for?
Does it work if you're not currently flying in the air? Otherwise, you got to drive real
You got to
fast.
be a
High altitude
pilot.
only.
You got to be a pilot. It's a 2-pack, and if you buy 2 of the 2-pack, you'll save 7%.
Okay. You want to split it?
7.
Oh, I love it so much.
Do you need to use a space pen?
I think that you could aggressively take notes at someone, you know? Sort of like look at them with a little stink eye and then you write on your notepad.
Yeah. Like, I could just be
I
looking
saw
at
that.
you, and I'd just be writing down on my leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, something
Things
like
to yell about at Wes later.
Something like 5 years ago, I was carrying a little notepad and like a little pencil with me everywhere because the people said it was really useful. And I was meeting with a friend who I hadn't seen in like 10 years. So we were like meeting for the first time and we had this amazing long conversation at a local coffee shop. And so every time he'd mention something that I was like, oh, I want to look that up later, I would pull
Write
out
it
this
down.
notepad and
Right.
I'd kind of just like just one word. Is
I've
all
seen you
need,
do
right?
that. I've seen you do that.
Right. And then halfway through like our meetup, he was like, Brent, what are you writing? What are you writing down there? This is making me nervous. What are you doing? I was like, oh, I'm just, you're
interesting.
really interesting things. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is proof and this is my homework later. And once I explained that, it was really appreciated. But I think up to that point, it was a little unusual and they were like, this makes me uncomfortable.
I'm
But
saving these. I'm
a leg
getting these.
notepad, you could just like, no one
Yeah,
needs
man.
to see it.
Here's one that's a platform. Interesting. They got standard forms you can put on there too. Yeah, of course. Of course this is a whole thing.
It's got to be a whole thing.
All right. It is time to vote. I am going to end the titles.
I hate this moment.
You ready?
No.
What if we don't get anything? We don't know.
That's what I'm scared about.
I know.
It was just one leg notes from Jeff.
Leg notes. That's good. Too bad it's not in the show. Show end. So I'm opening up the boats.
Oh,
Here we go.
Music. I like this.
Let's go boat, everybody. Ah, Jeff, you got bolts working, huh? Well done.
Excellent.
123,000 sats. You maniac.
I've missed you guys. It's been a while.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, what's with the Chris in your titles? What's
Yeah.
What's with this three strikes? I get it.
Well, like we tried it with Extended 4, we tried it with ZFS, now we're going to try it with, or, you know, I don't know.
Would you like shucks with that?
Sure would.
Maybe not your granddad's file system?
I don't know.
To be or not to be, there is no question.
It's not easy. It's because, like, you want to make it appealing to people that don't know that they're interested in bcachefs yet. Third time's a charm. It's third time's the charm. That's what I think that was mine.
That's kind of fun.
But yeah,
a little generic.
You get the reference, but maybe only after you've listened.
Votes, though, just saying.
Oh, does it? Okay. Well.
Next great file system. Linux's last hope. bcachefs : A New Hope.
I'm surprised no one put, like, it's the bee's knees or something.
The search for a real file system? No, that's too long. So.
Well, Jeff, you can't suggest titles now.
Linux file system, the state of Linux file systems are embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
You know, I was pretty pleased to see as part of our little playing with bcachefs how easy it is to shrink a Btrfs file system. Just right online, you're like, hey, shrink yourself down.
How long have we been waiting? You said we covered it in 2016?
2016, August.
Okay, so that was 2000. So what if we just said something like stupid, like, is this a weird title? Like, we've been waiting.
Something like
I'm going to restart.
5 years and it's finally here or something like that.
Okay, I'm restarting the title bot.
Titles take two.
And then what
it's
if
a race this time?
And then what if we do a title like what was I saying? Because now I forgot.
You were going on the
Oh yeah, okay. So it has been according to Google 2,692. What was the actual date? August what? 10th?
16, August 16.
August 16, 2000. Okay, so that was 2,707 days ago. Wow. So what if we did a title like, we've been waiting.
It's like a postcode booze.
What about we've been waiting 2,707 days for this?
Okay. That's kind of fun. I don't hate it.
Different. It's definitely different. Could it be shortened up? Could we shorten that up a little bit?
I don't see it suggested here in the...
What?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Oh, jeez. I was just about to get so angry. I get so mad.
What about a play on, like, catching up? Like Linux catching up, file system catching up, something like that?
Catch up.
iPhone does what Linux can't.
Oh.
Where Linux falls behind the iPhone. Windows XP still does something Linux can't. I mean, it's embarrassing when you think about it in that context.
At least we have permissions.
Oh, that's good, Wes. That's maybe a little better. Yeah, that's true. Doesn't quite convey that we've been waiting, but it is close to 2,707 days later. That's not bad. I'm liking that.
Revenge of the Beat Tree.
That's good too.
Wes is on fire. Butterfest.
I like a better butter.
I can't believe nobody's done. I can't believe it's not butter.
bcachefs. Okay.
I knew it was going to be a hard one to
Alex,
title.
you haven't suggested anything.
I knew it was going to be a tough one. I could feel it.
Some of them are. Some of them are. We're just lucky we get assistance for this one, you know? We appreciate that.
Should we let it go again? Are we ready to vote again? Are people running out?
One more shot, yeah?
There's still some furious typing here.
Okay. Okay. I'd be curious if you're in the chat room. Tell me what streaming platform you're listening on. Because I'm trying to figure out which ones I'm keeping. Does Penguin Prince know we're live? Because we're trying to title this right now.
Probably not.
I wonder what he thinks everybody's doing Bang Suggest for.
It's a good question. This is a confusing chat room, which it would be.
Yeah, it's a wild experience if you're not watching the live stream. It's like, what the heck's going on?
I think he has selective reading.
It hasn't gotten a lot of attention, but Apple laid off a 121-person
right?
Siri team. Laying off the Siri team. So they're making the cuts in the assistant.
Seriously?
Yep. Everybody's cutting. ChatGPT comes out and all of a sudden everybody's cutting their assistants.
It was a pun.
Oh, you said seriously. I get it. It was good, Brent. It was really, really good.
Oh, thanks.
No, that was
Sunday
really,
is my
no, it was really
high
good.
time.
Brent, it was really good.
Oh.
SEC's account got hacked this week. That's fun.
Really?
Yep. Well, so they claim.
That's fun.
Well, technically,
Framework did too.
Technically, Twitter said it was logged in from a new account or a new user. Framework, yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that sucks. Jupiter 2 by C. That's all emojis, Wes, you maniac.
I'm just trying to get to the spirit of the thing.
That won't break anything, right?
Surely not.
What even is all that? You got saving something rabbit rocket. What?
No. Storage flowers are faster with rockets.
Of course they are.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Wait, are those flowers? What's the second one?
It's like a confetti ball.
This should be an interesting week to watch. The Bitcoin ETF launched on Thursday, traded. Well, it's announced on Wednesday, launched on Thursday, traded Friday, and then went immediately into a 3-day weekend while Bitcoin was on a slide.
Right.
If you bought Bitcoin when BlackRock filed for their ETF, which was public information, then you were up about 77, 80%. So I think a lot of people are cashing out. A lot of peeps. And then if you bought GBTC, you've been locked up for years, potentially. And so you're probably cashing out. So I don't know, maybe I'm hoping it'll be a week of cheap sats, but we'll see. Be nice. But then again, they also have to buy, and the inflows are high. So by Tuesday, who knows?
What are we at right now?
42, which feels cheap again. So we're back to last week. We're back like 8 days. Like we're back 8 days, and it feels like cheap. Crazy ass Bitcoin, tell you what.
2024.
You never know. You never know. It's been a little while today. That's the way she Bitcoins, that's for sure. Brentley, head on down.
The way the mempool mems?
Come on down and we'll...
Can I take the train?
Yeah, come on down. What was it we were going to do when you got here? I forgot. We were going to do something in Seattle, but come on down. We'll do that thing. We're going to
was
feast,
something.
right?
No, beer.
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
No, it was gluten-free.
And
Gluten-free.
I'm sure we're going to eat. I'm sure we're going to eat, too.
I like eating.
Yeah.
Can I come up for the Indian?
Yeah. Did you get the... Oh, you did. Yeah, you're right. Oh, that was your first, wasn't it? Yeah, that was your first.
Changed his life.
Yeah.
That sounds good on
That
a day
was
like
good.
today.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah, dude.
Well, and you had Noah guiding us through the experience. That was great.
That was nice. That'd be fun. One of you guys come up or down, whatever it is for you, and help me drill a hole in my RV.
Just drill the damn hole. It's
You
fine.
can drill it. I just think you don't.
Just do a video call while you where you.
I don't know if I can psychologically do it, guys.
That's what will be on the video.
I know
call.
that's the
Plus,
thing.
I got to go through super tough rubber and then the floorboard and all of that. Like
Rubber.
it's just.
What's the hole for?
I've got no context. What are we drilling holes for? Yeah.
My dad gave me a diesel heater for Christmas.
Fun.
Right.
And I've always wanted to install a diesel heater in that front bay and then run a vent up behind the driver's seat. I think that'd be pretty easy to do. But
a vent up behind the driver's seat. What's this vent for? Is it to let out the heat?
Yeah. So basically, the diesel heater is in the front bay because that front bay used to be where my batteries are at, but they're not there anymore, so it's empty now. And it's got already exposed to the elements, so I could run the exhaust really easily. And I could maybe run off a Y, and I could also potentially run a vent over to the batteries, so I could heat that area too if I wanted to. But it's a lot of cutting, and then it's got to be wired in. And I don't know.
Project, but
it has to be installed. No, it's not. It's almost I could probably do it myself if I just could psychologically bring myself to cut all these holes.
Right.
By myself.
I don't know how those things work, but I mean, you're venting heat. How hot are we talking here? Wouldn't it melt your flooring or burn the wood?
It's made for this application, Jeff.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I've never seen. I've seen diesel heaters, but not in this.
Oh yeah,
way,
no, it's
I
like
guess.
there's it's like a here. I'll link you one. They're they're made for hashtag van life.
I got this out
okay.
Out of an old factory and just stuck it in here.
Hey, I would, dude. You know what I mean?
That's why with Chris's RV, nothing's off here.
Wow, it's unbelievable how cheap these things are. This one's $89. That thing's got to be a fire hazard. Incredible. The most common now are these all-in-one units, but that's not. See, I got one that's a little more modular because I want to install it.
Modular.
Where? Jeez, they used to be the most common kind. Here we go. It's kind of like. It's essentially, I'll link it in the Matrix chat, but if you go on Amazon and look up diesel heater, you'll have ones that are all-in-one units, and then there's ones that are the heater itself and the individual components all separate, and that's the one I have. So I want it so I can install the control panel inside.
Oh yeah.
I mean, $110. This is what I would have, and now they sell them for $90. This is what I would have had if I was Brent, is because these things will run off a tank for at even on high setting for 30 hours straight. And they produce this super nice dry heat that kills all the mold and all that kind of stuff.
That
but then I need to huck some diesel around.
Yeah. That is true. But I mean, how hard is it really to get a jerry can and top it off?
I've done it. It gets real old real fast.
I mean,
new jerry cans suck too.
I know
they don't freaking breathe.
I know. I have to haul propane around right now.
Right.
One thing that I've seen that's really smart is people put the tank on rails. They fix it to a board, and then they put the board on drawer rails. And then they pull the tank out when they go to fill it. So they're not filling into their rig.
Yeah.
That seems smart.
But then you'd end up with the same problem as your television where hoses and stuff are constantly moving by 5 feet.
But you wouldn't have to do it that. You wouldn't, you do it a couple of feet just to bring it out. And you can see the line here in this picture, Brent. It's got some... Especially, it's got some play, especially for how close. This isn't my unit, but the line they bring has some play. And then so it has a fuel line.
Huh?
Yeah, it has a fuel line, an exhaust, and an air intake, and the air output.
Okay.
And the things just they burn diesel in a closed chamber. You can stand. It's wild. You can stand outside next to it, and you don't really smell the exhaust. It doesn't smell bad.
That's nice.
And then they heat the chamber, and then the air blows across that chamber. So
right.
The air never has diesel mixed in it either.
Yeah. Right. And then
by the way, Brent.
Exhausts, yeah.
My mom lowered the... Oh, go ahead.
I have a question first. In that photograph you just showed, Chris, and you said it's not your unit, but it looks similar. It shows a battery, which looks like a motorcycle battery.
Oh, it's definitely bigger than that battery. They have the scale wrong on this, I think.
Oh, I was going to say that fuel tank looks teeny tiny. So
yeah.
Okay. I feel better about this now.
Seems all wrong. Yeah, this is the problem. A lot of this stuff is you really have to research who makes it because some of them are not very well made, and so they fail.
Can you say the name of that manufacturer there?
Zahabang. Zahibabang.
Zhibang.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it's Shebang.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're probably right. All right, let's
Jeff?
go do the title again.
Oh, I just wanted to remind you that van's still sitting there, and Mom said she'd lower the price for me or any friends. So,
for in Canadian dollars or what?
Project.
Well, we can convert.
Yeah, right.
All right, time to go vote again. You know what to do.
Need your vote.
Pick a good one, everybody. The show depends on a good one. Yeah, maybe. All right. If anybody in the chat room can help us figure out the date that Kent first started working on bcachefs in 2015, that would be useful. All right. So coming up on the winning boat so far, it is 2,707 days later with 3 boats. That is pulling ahead. And I was just thinking perhaps the answer to that one is not to do 2,707 days later, but to do however many days it's been since Kent first announced bcachefs. And then we could do it till the March 6th. So Linux 6.7 came out last Sunday. So it was released on the 7th. So we could do the date range that way.
I just keep having this strange urge to vote for all of Wes's titles.
He was on fire. He's appealing to the heart.
That's right.
Good job, Wes Payne.
Oh, yeah.
Boom. Oh! Oh! Wes is trying to find the date. I'm seeing if Wes can find it before the chat room does.
Introduced says 21 August 2015. I don't know where they're citing that, though.
Just ask one of those machines; they'll tell us.
Are you looking at Wikipedia?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we can probably go with that because it seems right. So it says August of 2015.
Yeah. August 21st.
Okay. So now we need to do the math of between. Okay. That's a ChatGPT job, I think. You think it'll get it?
That's a good question.
So how many days between the 21st of August, that's what I'm going to ask it, okay? The 21st.
Is it going to be better at doing that, or you can have it write you a little program to calculate it?
Yeah, I know, right? And then
I might get that one better.
6.7 came out January 8th, I said? Yes, January 7th.
Yeah, depending. Do you want to do merge date, or do you want to do 6.7 release date?
Probably release date just for simplicity, I think.
Yeah, all right.
Just to make it easy. All right, so I asked it how many days between the 21st of August 2015 and the 7th, and it says, it's doing, geez, it's so verbose. It's doing like all the math for me. It's giving me all the math. So it says 2,000, oh no, take it, geez, I have to keep reading, sorry. So 3,059. What do you say we do that? So the title would be, go with your winner, which was 2,700 days, and just do instead 3,000, 3 days later, something like that. Like,
okay, sure.
Am I making sense in my? Yes, I think I'm making sense. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll double check our math. Too.
You don't believe ChatGPT?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, double check. I think that's a good idea. All right. Well, then we have our winner if we go with that. Putting it in there, Wes will double check the math. Boom.
What was the kernel day?
January 7th, 2024.
Okay.
Do a little Python action on there.
Why not? Just,
Calculate it up real quick. Beep, 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 beep. That's what I say. Well, that's good. It was a nice talk with Kent from his Subaru.
I know, right? He had to figure it out.
He sure does.
Where, you're at the studio, I'm at my house, like chumps.
Someone asked Copilot, says deleted.
I asked the llama, and it thinks that bcachefs was something that IBM made in the early 2000s.
Oh my God, wild.
Yeah, clearly.
3061?
3061? No, I got 3059 from ChatGPT.
That's pretty close.
It even gave me the whole math equation. So,
well, it might be right then.
Oh my God! Now we have we just went from
this one, but
you just introduced so much.
Python thinks 3061.
Jeopardy is a bit weird with math. I'd go with Wes's Python.
Well, now we need to know. I mean, it's got to be a kid.
What are the dates?
Ask another service.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, ask the chat room. Can we have a caller lifeline?
Okay, so here are the dates. Are you ready? Here are the dates. You ready for the dates? Here are the dates. The dates are August 21st, 2015, January 7th, 2024.
All right.
So that's when he started on it. I'll go ask Barticle what Barticle says.
Perfect.
Dear Barticle. Barticle says, geez, it's way slower. I'm still waiting. Here we go. Oh, Barticle says 3061.
Oh, all right.
Uh-oh.
Thanks, Barticle.
Getting consensus.
What is going on? And by the way, this is the AI revolution that's causing all of these tech companies to reassess and lay off all these people, by the way. Bullshit. What a bunch of... It just gives me so frustrated. All right, so we're going to go with 3061. All right.
Ooh,
According to my tool, which is based on...
Here's a small... Oh, sorry. Go on, Brent.
I'll fight you.
Yeah.
I use a mundane, Web 2.0 tool from timeanddate.com, which I've used often.
Oh, yeah, go to timeanddate.com. You know about timeanddate.com.
Otherwise known as 437 weeks and 2 days, or 838.63% of a common year.
I have one little detail. So Wikipedia cites a Phoronix article, which cites an LKML post from the night before, and the LKML post is sort of announcing it is from the 20th, August 20th, 2015.
So how many days would that make it?
So that'd be 3,062.
All right. Will you link that in the notes too? Mm-hmm. So we have 3,062. We got
That's also what I got from a web calculator.
Hey-oh! All right. I like that the number looks better too.
Well,
3062. I just think it looks better. So I'm happy with that as well. I like it. All right, Mumble Room, thank you guys. Those of you who remain.
It's been fun.
It has. Thank you for the boost too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Just glad I made it in time. Didn't know how long that side job was going to take.
You did well. And now, when you're on the go, you could always listen to the Jupiter Station feed if you want.
We'll be there.
What's URL? I kind of missed that.
Just search for in your podcast app, or you go to jblife.fm. We're going to be working on that URL tonight. But yeah, it's published as a lit stream, so it's a podcasting 2.0 stream, which is fun and exciting. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right, guys. Thank you. Have a good rest of your Sunday.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Z's.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. See you next week. I hope. Bye. I hope. Right?
Please. We'll be here. We'll be here.
It turns out if you try hard enough, you can.
Yeah. So if they try hard enough, they could show up. Right? I think so. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, members. Thank you, live streamers. Thank you, lit streamers. All of them, right? All of them. Appreciate you very much. And I don't know. Hope to see you next time. Y'all come back, you hear? Appreciate you, members.
out now, boys. Are you ready to do the rigmarole? Yeah, man. Well, go on where I told you. Do like I told you. Because everything is home cooked. Look out now. Here we go. Watch it. 1, 2, 3, 4.